Today I want to talk about a topic that isn't discussed very much. The work that we do with FIRST is related to both education and charity. FIRST is a nonprofit, after all, and when you're working with any nonprofit entity, there's often two different categories of work. There's the thing that you're actually trying to do, and then there's all of the admin work that goes along with it. The things that relate to legal documents, laws and regulations, finances, anytime you're dealing with money. All of that isn't really the thing that you're actually trying to accomplish, but it's something that's necessary in order to accomplish it. Now, I'm not going to talk about team-related finances, because there are much better resources on that topic. Instead, I'm going to focus on the finances for First Tech Challenge leagues, because that's what I happen to be involved in. First Tech Challenge regions, which often correspond to states here in the United States or countries in other parts of the world, have different ways of organizing their teams. When I first started volunteering for First Tech Challenge tournaments here in Florida, we used a qualifier model, where all of the key volunteers would travel all around the states, and each tournament took on as many teams as could fit in order to advance them to the regional championship. Nowadays, we have a league model. Florida is divided into 8 different leagues, and every team has the opportunity to play in multiple league meets throughout the season, and they're guaranteed a spot at the league tournament towards the end of the season. It's not the right model for everyone, but it works well for us. Leagues have finances. At the beginning of the season, that may be buying field perimeter, tiles, or game elements. Throughout the season, the league may be responsible for buying volunteer meals at each competition, and at the end of the season, it's probably responsible for buying trophies at the league tournament. Leagues are managed, at least here in Florida, by a league leadership committee, and that committee has the responsibility of setting some amount of money that they're going to charge all of the teams in the league as league dues to pay for all of these things. Just a quick side note. These league dues are important for running league events, but teams often don't have the opportunity to pay those league dues using funds from their FIRST account. So this can put them in an awkward situation where, on paper, teams have plenty of funds through grants given to them through FIRST, but they aren't able to actually use those funds or re-grant them in such a way that they can actually pay their league dues. In my opinion, this is an area for improvement. Managing league finances can be a lot easier if it has some sort of backing organization, especially if that organization is a non-profit. This can allow the league to save a lot of money on sales tax, accept tax-deductible and tax-free contributions from others, and often the work we do with FIRST fits within the educational and charitable missions of other organizations anyway. The problem is, managing a nonprofit is hard, and it's not something to be taken lightly. There can be serious legal consequences if anything with that organization is mishandled. So what many teams and leagues have to do is go out and find some other organization that can act as their financial backing. This raises some problems as well, because that organization has to have a similar mission, and you have to have someone within that organization with access to the finances that's also involved with the league. In the past, leagues in my area have used professional societies, education-related nonprofits, school districts, and other government-adjacent organizations as their financial backing. But even if you find a good match, these organizations can provide some barriers to operating. They may not understand what FIRST is all about, and they may provide some blockers to paying FIRST-related suppliers or taking money from teams which come from a wide array of organizations like school districts that require certain vendor forms or other nonprofits that need you to fill out a W-9 before they can release the funds. Everything like that. And you may find yourself in a situation where that group of individuals or one individual who's connected with that organization leaves the league and causes problems when it comes time to get those league funds to another org. If you face enough of these issues over time, passionate leaders may choose to create a new nonprofit for the team or the league. Again, this is not something to be taken lightly. There can be consequences, not just if you choose to do something wrong, but even if you just forget to do something right. We recently created a new nonprofit for my local league, and if you're interested in donating to that nonprofit, I'll leave a link down in the description below. Ultimately, the decision to do so revolved around having more control over our finances and improving our ability to fundraise at a league level in the future. We also have a neighboring league that has trouble paying FIRST-related suppliers from their school district account, and we're going to see if we can help them out in the future as well. This is only possible because we have multiple passionate leaders in the area who are willing to spend the extra time on the admin side of things, the stuff that isn't fun, but necessary to run such an organization. As teams and leagues grow, finances become more difficult to manage. I think this is one of the big hurdles to the continued growth to FIRST and the FIRST Tech Challenge program in particular. I genuinely hope that everyone finds an organization that can act as your financial backing, that truly understands what FIRST is about, and supports you in your goals. But if you find yourself in a situation where you think it might be time to look for another option, please reach out to me. I'm happy to share the experience that we've had with my local league. That's all from me. Subscribe for more discussions like this one, and I'll see you at the field.